大家好 to all you wonderful Chinese learners. Hopefully you've been following us on our channel or Facebook account and are really excited to join us today as we delve a bit deeper into the 5 new changyu that we've shared with you so far this week. We realize that our viewers have a wide range of Chinese abilities, so if today's content is a bit too difficult or a bit too easy for you, check out the description below for links to other videos or resources that you might find helpful. Alright, with all that said, let's go for it. 小心翼翼，小心翼翼。In 小心翼翼, the first character, xiǎo, means small, and the second, xin, means heart. When put together as 小心, they become a special phrase in Chinese, meaning to be careful. The third and fourth character are yi, which by itself actually means wing. But long ago, Chinese speakers would double it, saying yi, and used it to mean respectful and serious. Eventually, these two phrases were put together into 小心翼翼 and used to mean with great care and very cautious. 小心翼翼 can be used to describe a person's actions. For example, you're talking about the first time that you held your newborn baby, and you say, 我小心翼翼地抱着宝宝，很担心会伤到他。Or 小心翼翼 can also be used to describe a person's character or general way of doing things. For example, you have a friend who is always overly cautious, and you say, 他做事总是小心翼翼的，因此也错过了不少好机会。爱不释手，爱不释手。The first character in 爱不释手 is I, which means to love. Next is 不, and in this context, it basically means cannot. Then there's 是, which means to release or let go. And lastly is shǒu, which means hand. When combined together into 爱不释手, literally speaking, it means that one loves something to the point that they won't release their hands from it. In other words, to love something too much to part with it. It's used to describe when someone really, really likes something. So, for example, you give your son a super cool toy that he loves and takes with him everywhere he goes. You could say, 儿子对我送他的玩具爱不释手。That said, there are 2 notable limitations to this changyu. First, 爱不释手 is not used to talk about people. So maybe you're saying how much you love your girlfriend. Here you wouldn't use 爱不释手. Second, it does need to be something small enough to carry. So you can't use it to talk about your new house or car. But you can use it to talk about that new painting you just bought for your living room. You could say, 我超喜欢这幅新买的画，简直是爱不释手。迫不及待，迫不及待。In 迫不及待, first is 迫, which in this case means urgency. Next is 不. Just as in 爱不释手, it means cannot. Then there's 急, which can be translated as in time for. And lastly is 待, which means to wait. Put them together, and it means that one feels such a sense of urgency that they cannot spare the time to wait. More practically, 迫不及待 means that one is too impatient or too excited to wait. For example, an old friend that you haven't seen in a long time is coming to visit tomorrow. And you say, 我都迫不及待地想要马上见到他了. Or maybe you're really excited about that new smartphone model that will be released soon. And you say, 我都迫不及待地想换新手机了. 知足常乐，知足常乐。 In 知足常乐, 知 means to know, and 足 means sufficient. When used together, 知足 means to be content. The third character, cháng, can mean constant, and the last, 乐, means happiness. So when literally translated, 知足常乐 means that one who is content enjoys constant happiness. A more practical translation would be contentment is happiness. 知足常乐 is a 成语 that describes a certain attitude towards life, and is often used when someone is disappointed about not getting what they want. So maybe you're talking to your friend who's complaining about how her investment didn't perform as well as she expected it to. You could say, 虽然这次投资回报一般，但总比一点没有好。知足常乐嘛。Or maybe you're talking to your spouse about how your family doesn't have very much money. You could say, 我们的生活虽不富裕，但也算可以。人要懂得知足常乐。丢三落四，丢三落四。In 丢三落四, the first character, 丢, means to lose. I'm going to skip the second character for now and go straight to the third, which is a bit tricky. You may have seen it before in words like 落后, but it is actually a 多音字, which means it has two or more different readings. So in this 成语, it is pronounced as 落, and it means to forget to bring. Now for the second and fourth characters, you may have recognized the numbers 三, 3, and 四, 4. 三 and 四 often appear in 成语, and are used in a way that's similar to this and that in English. So 丢三落四 means to lose this and forget that, and is used to describe when someone is forgetful or scatterbrained. So maybe you're talking about a friend who is constantly forgetting and losing his belongings, and you say, 他做事比较粗心，常常丢三落四. Or maybe you yourself are getting a bit older and you're noticing that your memory isn't quite what it used to be. You could say, 我最近经常丢三落四的，记忆力特别不好。All right, well there's 5 new useful 成语 to add to your growing collection. We challenge you to try to find at least one opportunity to use a 成语 from today's video before we post part 3 next Saturday. If you complete the challenge, come back and leave a comment to let us know, and share which 成语 you used and how you used it. 我们已经迫不及待地想要看到你们的评论了。谢谢大家的观看，我们下周见。